subscriber special. It's been a long time I've not done a lore reading. I didn't do it for a long time, so I thought I would do it again. And today we will explore the lore of Shen. Shen, the Eye of Twilight, the Eye of Twilight, the Eye of Twilight. The eye is blind to fear, to hate, to love, to all things that would sway equilibrium. That's a direct quote from Shen. Among the secretive Ionian warriors known as the Kingu, Shen serves as their leader, the Eye of Twilight. He longs to remain free from the confusion of emotion, prejudice, and ego, and walks the unseen path of dispassionate judgment between the spirit realm and the physical world. Tasked with enforcing the equilibrium between them, Shen wields blades of steel and arcane energy against any who would threaten it. Alright. So let's read his bio. Shen, the Eye of Twilight, an enigma to the spirit realm, as well as the mortal world. Shen belongs to neither. Although born to one of the most revered families of northern Navarre, it was his father's role as the Eye of Twilight that set his destiny in the Kingu Order. As the son of Great Master Kusho, he was immersed in the Order's culture, and its core tenets were as familiar to him as the Ionian sunset. He knew the necessity of pruning the tree, the determination of coursing the sun, but above all, he learned the wisdom of watching the stars. He meditated and studied throughout his childhood, and was considered exemplary by all his teachers. His closest friends, the only one who could match him in his practice bouts, was the young Acolyte, said Acolyte. They grew up as brothers, often confiding in each other their personal hopes and dreams. Shen could turn to Zed for a fresh perspective on any matter, and the two became known as the Kingu's most promising students. As their skills developed, Kusho brought them on dangerous missions, including a hunt for the golden demon plaguing the province of Zion. Their search took years, but Shen stayed committed even after uncovering countless gruesome murders. When at last they captured the demon, it was revealed to be Katajin, a mere stagehand from a traveling theater. Instead of execution, Great Master Kusho ordered the criminal in prison. Oh, so that's Jin. Alright. Though he and Zed both thought the killer deserved heavier punishment, Shen accepted his father's decision. He strived to emulate the Eye of Twilight's dispassion, and so found himself falling to console a bitter and resentful Zed, failing to console. Even when Noxian invaders threatened the peace of the First Lands, Shen reluctantly supported the Kushos in action, but when Zen abandoned the Kingu to join the fight, Shen stayed within the temple walls. Okay, so Zed went to fight Noxus. Alright. Many of the provinces were soon occupied by the enemy. Despite this, Shen focused on maintaining Ionia's spiritual harmony. So it was when he was far from home, he felt a jolting imbalance within the Kingu Order. Rushing back, he came upon the survivors of a bloody coup from Zen. He learned Zed had raised acolytes of his own and seized the temple. Worst of all, Shen's father had been slain by the man he once saw as kin. Repressing his anguish, he led the remnants of the Kingu to safety in the mountains. Shen took up his father's spirit blade, as well as the title of Eye of Twilight. His role was not to seek vengeance, but to rebuild the order. Following the core tenets, he began to recruit and train others, hoping to restore its strength. One acolyte in particular showed boundless potential. Shen taught the girl, Akali Teti, to master the arts of stealth and subterfuge. Her mother, Mame, had stood alongside Kusho as the Feast of Shadow, and it seemed as though her daughter could follow the same path. Even so, Shen found himself forced to urge restraint whenever Akali would seek to strike back at their mortal foes. When Noxus finally withdrew, many Ionians celebrated the victorious resistance. Others, like Shen, endured the consequences of war. He persisted in his duty, while in private he wrestled with his hatred for Zed and doubt in his own ability to lead. The years of conflict had taken heavy toll on the First Land, and Shen was uncertain whether the rebuilt Kinku would ever be able to redress the balance. Indeed, even as Akali became the new Feast of Shadow, he felt her beginning to drift away. In time, she openly denounced his teachings and left the order. Shen meditated, watching the stars, and understood that Akali would need to find her own way, and so would the Kinku. Sometimes, between the unseen struggle in the spirit realms, Shen still contemplates the value of his beliefs. He has never let his emotions stop him from preserving tradition. But the question remains, how long can one man walk two worlds before the acts of one destroy the others? Nice, so that was quite a short story. So basically, Zed hated the fact that Shen was so inactive and emotionless, and I guess Akali is the same. I can see. Shouldn't we do the Zed story now, or the Akali story? The Zed or the Akali? I think we'll go for Zed as it's closer to Shen. Zed, the Master of Shadows. Balance is a false master. Alright. Utterly ruthless and without mercy, Zed is the leader of the Order of Shadow, an organization he created with the intent of militarizing Ionia's magical and martial traditions to drive out Noxian invaders. During the war, desperation led him to unlock the secret shadow form, a malevolent spirit magic as dangerous and corrupting as it is powerful. Zed has mastered all of these forbidden techniques to destroy anything he sees as a threat to his nation or his new order. Alright. I mean, I thought Zed was just kind of some ruthless assassin. Actually, he's just a guy who tried to defend his country. Alright. Because, like Zed and all his tribe wouldn't do anything. Alright, I feel you. Much more respect for Zed. Much more respect for Zed now. Zed, the Master of Shadows. Beneath Ionia's veil of harmony lie the tales of those left behind. For Zed, his story began as a boy on the cold steps of the home of the Kinku Order. Taken in by Great Master Kusho himself, Zed found his place within the temple's ancient walls. He dedicated himself to understanding the Kiku spiritual tenets, quickly outpacing his peers both in combat and study. Even so, he felt overshadowed by another, his master's son, Shen. Though Zed's passion shone through in every technique he perfected, he lacked Shen's emotional balance. In spite of this, the two pupils became like brothers. In time, they journeyed together with their master to track down the infamous Golden Demon. When they finally succeeded in capturing the feared monster, it was revealed to be a mere man named Kadajin. The young Zed marched towards with his blades held high, but Kushu stopped him, ordering that Jin be imprisoned instead. Returning to their temple, Zed's heart bloomed with resentment, and he began to struggle in his studies. He was haunted by the memories of Jin's grisly murders, and rising tensions between Ionia and the imperialistic forces of Noxus only worsened his disillusionment. While Shen was growing to adopt his father's dispassion, Zed assassin or something. Absolutely not. Much respect, bro. He ventured deep into the temple's hidden catacombs, and there he discovered an ornate black box. Even though he knew it was forbidden to any but the masters of the order, he peered inside. Shadows enveloped Zed's mind, feeding his bitterness with contempt for the weak and hinting at an ancient dark magic. Returning to the light of the temple, he came face to face with Great Master Kusho. Zed demanded the Kinku strike at the Noxian invaders every means at their disposal. When Kusho refused, Zed turned his back to the order, and that had raised him. Unbound by Kinku doctrine, he raised a following of warriors to resist Noxus, and his soul who threatened his homeland or stood idle in its defense was marked for death without mercy. Oh, including native Vastaya who wavered in their allegiance. Oh, yeah, right. Tiny bit extremist, my bro, but I see, yeah. Zed urged his followers to embrace the favor of war, but soon enough he realized his own abilities would never match his ambition without the black box. Amassing his new acolytes, he returned to the Kinku temple, where he was met by Kusho. The elderly man laid his weapon at Zed's feet, imploring his former pupil to renounce the shadows in favor of a more balanced path. Moments later, Zed emerged back onto the temple steps. In one hand, he grabbed the box, and in the other, his freshly bloodied blade. The Kinku, frozen with shock, fell in drove at Zed. Warrior cut them down. He then claimed the temple for himself, establishing his Order of Shadow, and began training his acolytes in the ways of darkness. They etched their flesh with shadowy tattoos, learning to fight alongside shrouded reflection of themselves. Zed took advantage of the ongoing war with Noxus and the suffering it brought to the Ionian people in the wake of a massacre. Near the Apple River, he came upon Cain, a Noxian child, soldier wielding nothing but a farmer's cycle. Zed could see the boy was a weapon waiting to be sharpened, and took him as his personal student. In this young acolyte, he saw a purity of purpose too much his own. In Cain, Zed could see the future of the Order of Shadow. Though he did not reconcile with Shen and the remaining Kinku, now scattered throughout the provinces, they reached an uneasy accord in the aftermath of the war. Zed knew what he had done could not be undone. In the recent years, it has become clear that the bonds of the First Land has been disrupted, perhaps forever. For Zed, spiritual harmony holds little consequence. He will do what needs to be done to see Ionia triumph. I do understand where he comes from, though. Like, you get invaded and nobody moves, nobody does anything. I see where he's coming from. I see. I think we're gonna do Akali now. As it is tied up to Shen. Akali, the rogue assassin. If you look dangerous, you better be dangerous. Akali, yeah. Very nice dragon tattoo, very nice one. Abandoning the Kinku order and her title of the Feast of Shadow, Akali now strikes alone, ready to be the deadly weapon her people need. Though she holds on to all she learned from her master Shen, she has pledged to defend Ionia from its enemies, one kill at a time. Akali may strike in silence, but her message will be heard loud and clear. Fear the assassin with no master. That's kinda badass, not gonna lie. Akali, the rogue assassin. Ionia has always been a land of wild magic. It's vibrant people and powerful spirits seeking to live in harmony. But sometimes this peaceful equilibrium does not come easily. Sometimes it needs to be kept in check. The Kinku are the self-appointed keepers of Ionia's sacred balance. The Order's loyal acolytes walk the spirit and material realms, mediating conflicts between them and, when necessary, intervening by force. was Akali, daughter of Mame, Shomen Teti, the renowned Feast of Shadow. Mame and her partner, Tano, raised their daughter with the Kinko Order. Under the watchful leadership of Great Master Kusho, the Eye of Twilight. Whenever her parents were called away, other members of the Order stepped in as Akali's surrogate family. Kenen, the Heart of the Tempest, spent many hours with the young girl, teaching her the shuriken techniques and emphasizing speed and agility over strength. Akali was a precocious child and soaked up the knowledge like a sponge. It became clear to all that she would follow her parents' path, along with the Great Master's son and appointing successor Shen. She would lead a new generation dedicating to preserving Ionia's balance. But balance can be fleeting. The Order found itself divided. A wayward acolyte named Zen returned and clashed violently with Kusho, wresting power in the bloody coup. Akali fled into the eastern mountains, along with Mame, Shen, Kennen, and a handful of other acolytes. Sadly, Tano was not among them. Said the transformation of the Kinku into the merciless Order of Shadows was almost complete, but as the new Eye of Twilight, Shen intended to rebuild what had been lost. They would return to the Kinku's three fundamental philosophies: the pure impartiality of watching the stars, the passage of judgment in coursing the sun, and the elimination of imbalance by pruning the tree. Even though there were no few, they would train neophyte neophytes, to restore and grow their number once more. When Akali came of age at 14, she formally entered the Kinku training, determined to succeed her mother as the new Feast of Shadow. She was a prodigious fighter and mastered the Kama and Kunai, a handheld cycle and throwing dagger. Though she did not possess the magical abilities of many of her fellow acolytes, she proved to all that she was worthy of the title, in time allowing her mother to step down and help mentor the young novices. But Akali's soul was restless, and her eyes were open. Though the Kinku and the Order of Shadow had come to an uneasy accord in the wake of the Noxian invasion of Ionia, she saw that her homeland continued to suffer. She questioned whether they were truly fulfilling their purpose. Pruning the tree was meant to eliminate those who threatened the sacred balance, yet Shen would always urge restraint. He was holding her back, and all the mantras and meditation could quiet her spirit, but such platitudes would not defeat their adversaries. Her useful precautiousness turned to outright disobedience. She argued with Shen, then she defied him, and she took Ionia's enemy her way. In front of the whole Order, she declared the importance of the Kinku, all its stock of spiritual balance and patience accomplishing little. Ionians were dying in the material realm, and that was the realm Akali would defend. She was trained as an assassin, she was going to be an assassin, she did not need the Order anymore. Shen let her go without a fight, knowing this was a path that Akali must walk alone. Perhaps that path would bring her back one day, but that would be for her to decide. Alright, those were some very nice stories actually. Very nice story. You have Akali and Zed, who are very passionate people, and Shen, who's actually seeing everybody leave the Kinku and doubting his own beliefs. It's actually a very cool dynamic they all have. Alright everybody, I just wanted to thank you again for these 500 subs that keep growing. I'm very grateful for all of you guys subscribing and watching the videos, and I hope you'll keep enjoying, and I hope you'll keep relaxing. So, I'll see you next time. Bye bye.